Hey, everybody. Here's your extremely flawed, humble servant. One more day on Whole Earth Game. It's been a beautiful day here in Santa Barbara, Ventura County. I hope it has been too where you live in. What's it been like over there, Renee?
Heat wave over here, and the big news, of course, is there was flooding over in Texas, and a lot of kids missing and killed, and a lot of climate change stuff that's causing extreme weather all around the world. So
Right.
that's
That's the first victim of this extreme doge cutting of
yeah,
the weather system, right?
yes, that's the thing. So that's the big thing, and then major heat waves.
So you remember that? Remember what they said when you were a kid that you would cut off your nose to spite your face?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, did you ever know what that meant?
I didn't until I saw, Vladimir Putin and then Elon Musk and then Donald Trump doing it in the last several years, the last
I
few
mean,
years.
they
Yeah,
really are experts at cutting off their nose
yeah. They're
to
willing to
spite their
kill
face.
themselves in order to, be right or just
Well,
make
no, wait a second. No, wait a second. You think they're willing to kill themselves? If that was the case, they'd be dead. No, they're willing to kill us.
Well, there you go. That's more accurate. Yeah.
While they sit in a comfortable chair and flying around in some kind of weird jet plane or some kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
stealthy thing. I mean, Kim Jong Un is just obsessed with being stealthy and trying to move around like nobody knows where he is, but everybody knows where he is, I'm sure.
Oh, he's
So,
enjoying a big glow up right now because, he's on Vladimir Putin's side and with, and he's just enjoying a moment. I've seen online a lot of people now being very impressed by him. Oh, he's got some mystique to him, and I thought, oh my gosh, the world is really turning into a thing where dictators are in right now. And they're calling them populists, but to me, that's just typical dictators. It's the Hitler playbook. I don't think it's any more interesting than the Hitler playbook. Do you?
well, I mean, it's the Book of Terror, so it's not
Yeah.
the Hitler playbook so much. It's another type of
Right.
dark entity going after certain types of. I mean, it's really much more. I would like to not give it to that. I would like to give it to the Orwell playbook. I would like to say it's the
Okay.
George Orwell. I would like to say it's the Huxley playbook. Okay, it's everything they talked about. So if you want to
Ah,
see the playbook, I mean, really, the jungle is really it's the playbook of where we are. Some people are more equal. Just people are more equal than others. I mean, everybody's equal, but some people are more equal, right?
okay. Yeah.
And the one,
Right.
this minuscule amount of people. Remember, now we know we're starting to really come to grips with the idea that 83 people have more wealth than 99.9% of the people.
Wow. That's a that
And that
number.
just makes us sick to our stomach. How could they
Yeah.
have so
Yeah.
much and how could we have so little? And then how could they even go for more instead of giving us less
Mhm.
instead of
Yeah.
just making it cool for everybody? I mean, you'd think these guys would want to buy us all a place to sleep and something to drink, and some,
Yeah.
it's just it would don't you think it would make sense to keep the workforce healthy and
Yeah.
at least entertained? I mean, they could really so easily manipulate us with a
Yes.
few dollars and like a basic needs package.
A
I mean, they wouldn't
basic
even.
needs package.
I mean,
Yeah,
they wouldn't even
that's
have
what.
to. Remember we talked about humility or death. We have to humble
Yeah.
ourselves. See,
Humility or
we
death.
have to humble ourselves to the fact that we just need five things
Mhm.
and nothing else. Like tonight, you just need a bed, and you just really need enough bed so you can sleep in the bed, but you don't
That's
need the
it.
whole entire bed. And if you
Yeah.
sleep with somebody or another animal, they will be the first one to tell you got to share the bed.
That's for sure. Yeah.
If you want a happy sleep, if you want to be angry all the time and you're not going to get any sleep at all, you'll be completely angry. Then you'll have no room in the bed for
Right.
anybody else but you. Just be all by you, but you won't sleep good. It won't be good.
So that's the humility or death, right? So you can either be
Well, we got to humble
isolated.
ourselves. Now we're going to have to go back to all. I mean, once we get rid of this fucking guy, I mean, are we going to get rid of him? Or are we going to keep this guy hanging on because it's convenient?
Well,
I mean, who's keeping this guy on because it's convenient? Like,
yeah.
when are we going to fucking literally take these guys and start putting them in jail?
That's what I'm saying is that, here's where I come from because I'm against the death penalty, right? So I don't agree with people who say, "Oh, let's just get, we got to, take all of these leaders like Trump and everything." I say no. But we should apply the regular law of putting them in, a due process, put them in jail if, they have to go, Trump was convicted of
But
how
why do you
many.
hesitate? Why do you even hesitate with your language? I mean, literally, they need to go to jail. They need to be in
Right.
prison. They need to be put in isolation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Why don't they
Yeah.
just get on? They can all get on that big rocket ship and they can go hang out on the moon for a while. Why don't
That's
we
what
just
I'm
send everybody
saying.
who wants to hang out with Musk? They can go and
They
party,
can go.
all the billionaires. But you got to leave your cash on
Right.
Earth until
Right.
everybody fucking, honestly, until everybody has a chance to do those five things.
Mhm.
First of all, it's no fun,
Right.
and it's not even practical. It's just mean.
It's just mean. Right. So, okay, wait. Let's unpack that because that's what I keep trying to get across to
Let's
people.
unpack that, because I've been doing that all weekend, because I've been talking about Fourth of July. I'm talking about independence. I'm talking about,
Right?
but I'm always reminded going to Santa Barbara, like the story, and I've been really like teaching the story. It's like a 10-minute university. Does everybody want to go to 10-minute university?
Yeah.
You want to go to 10-minute university? You want to learn
Yeah, why
something?
not?
Okay,
Why
let's
not?
learn something. Here's a cool thing. Okay, this
We
is
got to do
so
that.
this is so cool. So, okay, everybody take a deep breath. Ready? We're going to start
Ready?
learning. Okay, put your thinking cap on right here.
Learn time. Learning.
Okay, ready? Okay, so 13,000 years ago is what is considered the date of the last ice age. Okay? So just where I'm sitting right now, I can almost throw a harpoon, but I'm not that strong. But in the days when we were masterful at everything, I could probably throw a harpoon and hit the Channel Islands from where I'm sitting right now. On a clear day, they look like they're just right there. And on those Channel Islands, there were discovered bones of human beings that are easily dated to 13,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? It means that human beings have been up and down this coast continuously for the last, up until this minute, obviously. And then that's the thing. So now when you look at the whole scheme of things, let's do the win-loss column, okay? Winning means more time of success, right? Like that ain't like more time equals success. A little bit of time, not so much, right? So 12,700 years ago. 12,700 years ago. For 12,700 years, there were people here and they were having plenty. And they left no artifact for us really to find. A couple of pits of like the cities were like moving around. They used fire. They would follow fire. They'd burn their village because they'd clean it out. They just clean it out. They just had perfect. I mean, there's following fire around, following the fish around, moving throughout. 200 different languages were spoken in California before white people got here. 200 different. Oh, this state was filled with people. And then about 300 years ago, a guy named Cabrillo showed up with his black ship, and this is the real story of Shogun. Same story of the Shogun, where Whitethorn is. Are you watching the Hulu series Blackthorn of Shogun?
No, I want to see that. Tell me about it. It's on Hulu?
Yeah, it's brand new. I mean, it's a new version of the same story, but
Okay,
you
what's it
really
called?
well Shogun. It's James Clavell, and it's part of a
Okay.
series of things interaction between the Asian and the British primarily,
Okay.
and trade and different things. And this is kind of like how trade began. And you see some people like they were already hip to the fact that these were barbarian savages coming to Japan. So by the time like the Portuguese got to Japan, they were like, "Fuck, we're not like going to be listening to you people." And when they found out that they were already a part of this Portuguese kingdom, they were furious. Oh my God, they were furious.
Well, I would bet. Yeah, this is a part of history that I don't think Americans are very educated in. Like, I don't remember
Well, you
ever
got to
learning
go.
that
Okay,
in
but
school.
there's a series on Hulu right now that goes into every detail of this. So
That's what I
different.
want to know. That's what I gotta watch.
So you got to watch it. So I can't. I mean, I could go into that. We could spend the whole time talking about James Clavell's story, but this is my story. The story
Okay.
here is really the similar story. So a Portuguese showed up. He was filled with disease and fucking teeth falling out and God knows what.
Huh.
And the Chumash people just took him in and loved him.
Okay.
And then he died.
Wow.
And they buried him up in whatever this place. Okay, they don't even know where he's buried because they didn't really keep track of that shit. They just threw him in a pile probably.
Whoa.
But he gave the disease to these Chumash people.
Okay.
So for 60 years, disease raged through the Native American people in California.
Mm,
We don't know how many people were wiped out by that,
yeah.
but the people who had survived were stronger for the ordeal, of course.
Right.
And so when the Spanish came the second time, 60 years later, the Chumash people were ready.
Okay.
That's right. And when they showed up in Santa Barbara, like, hey, man, here we are, they're like, yep, here we are.
Yeah.
But it had switched from a matriarchal society
Uh-huh.
to a patriarchal society.
Okay. So that's when the shift, because that's what I wanted to ask you.
It's
And
a
that's
different
based.
thing because once they were like, finally, now they become ready to fucking fight. And then there's all like savagery goes on basically to protect the right to be indigenous people.
Okay.
See, from our point of view, they're savages. They need to be wiped out. From their point of view, we're savages. We need to be wiped out, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
and this is a little diversion here, but we have a comment on TikTok that I do want to read from Helen, who said that when you talk about brutality, the white people in history have been the most barbaric.
Well, you see, that's where we have to look at these things because in Egypt too, you have the feminine is the leadership of the Egyptian people, even to the point of, I mean, Cleopatra is the matriarch of the Egyptian people at the time of Rome. Okay, remember Hathor and the fact that Hathor looks so much like Jasmine Crockett that we can't even imagine. And I told that to my new friend I met today, and we talked about this, and she thought, "Oh my God, that is so true."
It is.
Jasmine Crockett looks like the queen, the goddess Hathor. I'm sorry, and it's not a. It's I don't even know. It's just what it is. So you can take it or leave it, and tell me I'm wrong in the comment section. Go do your own. I don't know. We might have a picture of that. Can you put that picture
Let
up?
me see if I can find it. We used to have it. Remember, it used to be your avatar here. I'll look for it while you're talking. Yeah.
See, the point is that we cannot be our full selves without the feminine aspect of ourselves. So all of this nonsense is simply to battle the requirement of the feminine part of ourself, which includes understanding the inclusion of everybody, which is why DEI infuriates these masculine people so much because it's exactly what it's the opposite of masculine. It's the way mom or grandmother more appropriately would be able to include everybody, making sure everybody got a place to sleep, everybody got some clean water, everybody got something to eat. And then we can go to bed, right? Because we'll have energy in the morning to do something spectacular. Am I right?
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean,
That's
isn't that
very
that's
true.
how simple it is?
Yeah.
The question is, where are you going to put your energy? Are you going to put it into hating everybody and saying there's not enough, and like taking your own $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion, what the fuck dollar? How many dollars do you need? And how? Why do you have that many?
Right.
Like, what did you do to get that? And then
When
didn't you come in like to this country without like having the right even paperwork? You came in illegally, and you did, and you worked the government, man. You like totally. This is totally our money.
Yep.
I mean, whatever you learned, it's because we provide that your ability to get those five things, right, Elon? So now you're going to take it like in that to okay, well, let me provide all those five things for you all people, and you can call it, the fucking Tesla fucking house.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, they gotta call. I mean, they're really people are talking about the Musk house. Okay,
The
the
Musk
Muskie house is a 20. Like he's saying something like $3,500. Like that's the benchmark
right,
to
right.
do. But what is this thing? Does it follow that 300 square foot model? I think it might.
I think it's close to there because I just heard a podcast talking about that earlier today.
Okay. By the way, we're gonna go. If my phone dies, that's how we're gonna end the game here.
Okay, so
So
if you disappear,
you gotta
okay, so
stick with
everybody
it.
listen up, everybody. So if he disappears, that's the end of the broadcast. That's what we're
Yeah.
letting you all know. So get your comments in and your
Well,
questions
the
in
fates
now.
allow. I got enough. I mean, it's surprising how much a little bit of energy will keep a phone going. But anyway, so the point is that we are in this humility place. We have to go back and rebuild everything, remember? So when all this stuff is going, we still got to come back to the five things, right? A place to sleep, clean water, food, energy, clean energy, for something to do. The something to do is to get those four things. And then once you get the four things, you give them to other people. I also want to make sure that we mentioned, the rules of the game are to follow the four agreements by the Toltec four agreements. And those are, be kind, use kind, impeccable speech, first to yourself and then to other people. Kind speech will send the right message out. Don't gossip or assume anything about another person. If you weren't there, you didn't see it, you don't know. Leave it that way. Then don't take anything personally because everybody has their own freaking trip and it is never going to be your trip. Your trip is your own trip. Be comfortable and be confident in your own trip. And nobody can touch you, right? And then you got to
Right?
just do your best, right? If you think you're doing your best, there's a little bit further you can go. Just go and figure it out. How do you get better? So stay with that. And that sucks because getting best sucks. There's no, I mean, what good enough is the enemy of best.
Good enough is the enemy of best because that's a variation on good is the enemy of great, but it's so true. We should never be complacent, right? Complacency, I think, is the biggest dream killer of all, probably.
It's never good enough. Okay, we're never going to be good enough. It's never
Yeah.
going to be enough. Okay, that's when we are in another place because you want to be able to say, like, what did you do on your time?
Mm-hmm.
Did you put it all on the field, or were you sitting around waiting for somebody else to do something for you? Well, I mean, then you got to go back and try again. So in another place, you're going to have another
Yes.
similar experience. You keep getting this experience until you can see that you're in this experience. Then you're in a matrix, and now you have a half a chance of getting out of the matrix for the next chance to go around if you know what you're doing. So that's what we're into this. That's these portals that are happening. Okay, so we're up the freight train that is coming down the pike is the nova that's our sun is going to have. Okay, and it's going to be here sooner than you think, and that is a fact. But nobody knows when. But it'll be here before you know it. You got that?
It'll be here before you know it, right? Can I read a couple of these comments that are coming in? We got a lot of people just wanting to say things. Someone said that they want to vote for Jasmine Crockett, but they're not sure if she's going to run for president.
No,
Obviously, we don't know that. We can't.
no, they're gonna go. It's gonna be part. Okay, so there's now the third party is really what we do need, but it's not the Elon Musk party. But it would be something like the Andrew Young Forward Party. We could look at Andrew Young. Andrew Young was a notable person. So what I'm going to do is instead of just bugging out, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just say worse sound. Okay, you're not going to be able to hear me as well, but here we
Okay.
go. Hello. Can you hear me then?
Yep, I can still hear you.
All right. And then how does that go? Because I don't have a cable long enough to do what I want to do.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can still hear me. Okay, great. Excellent. We have a comment that I don't want to forget to say that someone said the agreements, I assume they mean the four agreements, saved my life.
Good. Well, they should. They saved my life too. I mean, they're lifesavers. That's exactly what they are. Thank you for noticing that because they foregreen, right? Okay, what else are we doing? Well, we're looking at the seven hermetic principles too. So the four agreements and then the seven hermetic principles, and those are, and I'll run them down real quick. That everything's moving all the time, and that the most important thing about the hermetic principle, which I think is okay. So our little planet Earth is just this little ball, right? Everything that we need to live is inside the fucking atmosphere of the planet Earth, right? There's
Yep,
nothing.
everything we need has already been pre-provided.
It's already like it's all you can eat buffet if you know what you're doing. Remember that we just talked about this for 12,700 years. The Earth was an all you can eat buffet. And North America was the finest there was. I mean, they had actually eaten all the meat out of Mexico. The problem with the reason they needed to do human sacrifice is because they had no protein, they had no source of protein. So it was of high honor to give your body to your people so they could have your protein so they could live. You see what I mean? It's a whole different attitude when you know you're going to be, eaten by your family, right?
Well, it's community. It's like community first, family first, instead of the
Right, definitely.
individual. Yeah, instead of the individual culture that is really prevalent in modern Western society.
That's right. So we're thinking about other people, more than individual needs and so on. I mean, I think that's pretty brilliant. Don't you?
Well, yeah, of course, and
Ah,
that's
of
still a
course.
lot of cultures in Africa and in Asia where they put the community first. They put the family first, and the
Right.
individual is not as. So yeah, it would be an honor to sacrifice yourself so that your family could be healthy. The young generation, that your legacy. It's more about
Now, look,
legacy.
remember, like there wasn't just an easy thing. You couldn't just jump. I guess you could run up to the top and get your heart yanked out, but the point was that you really had to earn that spot. The goal was to do something magnificent, so that you could be, given an honorable death. And then they could bury your bones, underneath the house. I guess that's what they did. So, I don't know. It's just a different way of thinking and different way of looking at things. So everything's happening at the same time. That's the other one. Then everything's vibrating, of course. And then whatever the cause and effect is happening. And then polarity. Everything. There's two sides to everything. Um, I can't. It's a couple of more. If you know what they are, type them in the comment section because I just had a brain gaster.
Can I
But
read that we had like three or four comments saying that the third party is needed, but Elon is not the one to do it, right? If you were gonna have here's a cool question. If you were gonna have a third party that you were gonna lead, what
oh,
would be your main thrusts?
well, the Green Party. Okay, so it's like the thing about The green economy is really the best economy because it provides a triple bottom line. So if we move forward looking at everything in terms of what's the best way to solve the problem with the least amount of damage, then we're going to win. Everybody wins. And there's more money left at the end of the day. So then we have to provide, quality, affordable housing, clean water. We need to go back and do water reclamation wherever we have created issues, right? Whoops. I think we're responsible to replace the water. If we've just damaged water by oil extraction or any kind of mining, we should probably go back and fix it, don't you think?
Well, yeah, of course we should.
Okay, well, that's part of it. That's the cleanup, remember?
Yep, we got to
And
keep up
then,
responsibility.
I think, growing our way clean is the way to do it. In fact, growing our way, into a clean environment is the way to do it. I think that growing trees is the way to kickstart the economy. The value of a seedling versus the value of a 5-year-old tree or a 10-year-old tree, right? I just saw a
Yep.
big nursery up in Santa Paula. I can't wait to show you the movie. I have a movie for you coming up in the
Oh,
next
I
couple
want
of
to
weeks.
see that. What kind of plants were they growing there?
Trees,
Oh,
trees.
great.
Yeah, so I met with a cousin of Alexandria Ocasio Cortez too, and
No way.
yeah, his name is Armando Cortez, and he is an arborist.
What?
And he's an arborist that works at the level of, state levels,
Wow.
and he knows the value of a tree. And I explained that this is the way we finance, making people homeful, and it makes perfect sense that people who are without a home should be in a tree nursery learning how to grow trees. Yeah, it's so
Well,
simple.
of course. Heck yeah.
Or food or whatever else. I mean, being part of the situation, being part of the solution
Yeah.
is how you get to, so the goal is you come in one side doing as much drugs or whatever you need to do, but hopefully you slide over to the other side and then you don't need to do them anymore.
Well, yeah, sure.
Based on attraction rather than promotion.
Attraction, not promotion.
Yeah, that's one of the actual
That's
traditions.
Yeah, that's one of the actual traditions.
Ever
Exactly.
reminding us to keep principles before personalities. Remember that? What the
Yeah,
heck?
that's the truth.
That's good stuff. Okay, you can't argue with that shit.
You cannot argue with that at all. That is exactly what we need. It
So if
is
we
just
apply this to
reality.
our addiction, so the humility turns out to be we're addicted to power,
Yeah.
but we're not addicted to the kind of power you can plug shit into.
Okay, so wait, explain that for a second.
See, this is really part of the whole. It's definitely, you can see it clearly, even if you're not an expert. You can see the power and it's like the power corrupts absolutely is what the tenet is. It's what you say. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, except when you have a different kind of heart. Then it liberates everybody. Okay, when you have absolute power and the right type of mentality, no one even knows you're in charge. Your humility is way more apparent than your pomposity.
Pompassant, now that's a good word. Yeah, that's a really good word.
Pomposity is not power. Being loud and braggadocious is not attractive. It's not powerful. It's, everybody knows this. Okay, it's the guy on the bully on the playground has
Yeah.
started. He's the guy in charge now. Sorry,
Oh
it
my
sucks too
gosh.
because he's a real asshole. The guy's a fucking dick. Yeah, he's the
That's
guy that's
the
dumb.
truth.
Not only that, he's a dumb. He's stupid.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. It's not just a regular asshole. It's a dumb
It's
asshole.
a stupid asshole is running the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's not forget to call that out.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. So that gives us the power. We have the strength. That's real power.
Real power right there.
Is to know the difference, right? So you're asking for the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes, the serenity prayer.
Right?
Very.
Remember, we're praying for the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom is that we do not have the power. It's bigger than us, but it's universal. But it does require that we are forgiving,
Of course, yes.
and that we're humble, and that we love ourselves, and remember to forgive ourselves for not being who we are supposed to be, because we know that we are not going ever going to be. There's always going to be something. Remember, because good enough is the enemy of great.
Yes, good enough is the enemy of great. Good enough is the enemy of great. And
Be
people really
great
should
is to
recite
be
that.
great. It's never good enough. You never are going to be good enough. You're great. You're only great because you still have more ways to go.
Yeah. Uh, can you answer for people who are new here? We've had a number of questions about what are these 5 things everybody needs. So for people who are just being introduced to One Whole Earth and the One Whole Earth game and your book, by the way, that they can get anywhere.
Okay, so
Um,
remember, like the book. Please go get the book. I don't even know if I've sold a few books, but I hope I can.
yeah,
And
we've
that
got
can help,
to.
get. I might have another version coming out that I want to get forward to, because we're really close to publishing the next version. And then we're going to be going into container housing and looking at. I guess that's the. I think that might be the easiest way to get to the first level of the game that I want to play. The game I want to play is to provide quality, affordable housing for more people than any other person, and like as many people as possible before I die.
Okay.
Okay,
That's a
so I don't
worthy
even know,
goal. That's a very worthy goal.
like as many people who can get one. So if you're listening, you can get a house too. I mean, you can get one too. I mean, you just have to figure out how to do this. The question now will be how to move this into a financing thing, and then how to make it really work, because I want to build wealth for anybody who wants it. This is the time to take your tragedy and turn it into something positive, because if you've been involved with one of these tornadoes or hurricanes, I mean, okay, so what are we going to do if we're in a tornado? But if we had a whole earth home, it would be insured for itself, which means that for whatever reason we can replace the house.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to double insure this house. This house will be double insured, so you basically buy it twice.
Buying it
You
twice. All
buy
right.
it twice in the mortgage. Now, first of all, it didn't cost that much, but you still pay a little mortgage. You pay a little bit. Basically, it's an insurance policy until it gets paid off. But once you've
Mhm.
created enough in the insurance policy to cover the cost of the replacement of the house, you don't have to pay anymore. It just starts building value. You see that?
Yep.
And so it starts to build value. The value of the insurance policy is directly based on the equity of the property. Isn't
I
that cool?
love that. That's
Isn't that cool?
perfect.
And so the value of the property is only like it only cost us $100,000 to put back a house, but the land and the house together are worth $500,000. What?
Okay.
See? So
Yep.
the land is paid for. So the land costs nothing. I put $100,000 on the land, then I get a $400,000 equity check. What the
Oh
heck
boy.
just happened? That's what I want to do, and I can leave that to my kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
See,
And
that's
then they can sell
beautiful.
that for 400,000 now, or they can wait and see what it goes up to in the near future. And the
Yeah.
way things are going, it could go to millions. Or now here's the or part, and this is what I like the best. If it all falls flat and everything falls flat, what I got left is a house that is still going to be there after the next hurricane.
Mhm.
It's going to have its own energy. It's going to have its own water collection. It's going to have a garden. What?
Beautiful.
I'll be able to sit there and just relax and enjoy the rest of my life and really never have to go to the store. Ha ha ha. That would
Isn't
be the
that
thing.
great?
If I had a few chickens, that'd be good.
Oh my yeah, well yeah, you do need the chickens, right?
Gotta have
That's
some
integral.
eggs, you gotta have some eggs because
Gotta
eggs are
have some
cool.
eggs. You gotta have that. Yeah.
I mean, eggs and vegetables is you can do a lot with eggs and veggies.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's like all the protein that you would need and all the antioxidants, all the there you go.
See what I mean? It's not
Yep.
that hard. Okay, then the water. So what I'm talking about, what I'm going to get into is spinning the water. Can't wait to get with Chinese manufacturers about how to spin the water and create the energy and put back the energy into the water. So when you're drinking that water, it's going to be filled, energy charged. Can you imagine that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the point. So it's not that hard. I mean, honestly, you can just see it all. I mean, it's very clear. So if you okay, remember this planet. See behind me, all this blue sky. Okay, the blue sky and the trees. See that tree? The tree is
Yep.
involved with the same five things I'm involved with. It needs the house is the planet. Without water, it can't grow. Once it has water, it can go into infinity growing, right?
Right.
There's an end, but there's so long you can't tell, what that's going to be. It could grow forever. Okay,
Mhm.
as far as we know. Okay, housing, water, food, energy. The energy is coming through the sun, making leaves. The leaves are green. What the heck? The occupation is be a tree and leave. Ha
Oh,
ha
no.
ha.
I love that.
Are
That's my
you the
sense of
tree or are you
humor.
the
I love
leaf?
it.
That's the question. Instead of the hammer and the nail, you can be the tree or you can be the leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
That's
too
very
funny.
funny, though. I love
Okay, that's
that.
pretty funny. See, we made up a
Make
joke. We
like a
made a
tree
joke. We
and
made it
leave.
funny. Oh my goodness. Share that with your friends.
Share that with your friends, guys.
All right. So anyway, see, making jokes, brand new jokes come out of this podcast.
Yeah, see, we're making a whole new thing. We're getting a lot of LOLs, so I know we're doing well. We're doing well if you get the LOLs and the
All right. So
laughing
here we go.
emoji.
So the point now we're talking about. So we got this. Because the next thing is the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I mean, top it all off. If you're struggling with any kind of addiction, man, you got to get past that, or embrace it.
Yeah, or embrace it. That's correct.
You
That's all
know,
you
don't
can do,
fight it.
right?
But I mean, honestly, sobriety has its merits, and inebriation has its merits. I can't tell you which one to do.
Yep.
I'll tell you, you'll okay. If you want to live a happy, okay. This is a true statement. I think I learned this from the Tao. I think this is the Tao, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
The key to a long and happy life is knowing when to stop.
Okay.
So everybody has their own time. So pick your time and do whatever you need to do. Because
Know
here it
when to
comes.
make like a tree and leave, right?
Act
That's
like a
the
tree and leave. That's
or
right.
they say like performers timing is to know when a good time is to leave the stage. That's what makes a
Right.
good performer, right?
That's right. Well, timing, yes, right. You want to leave them. That's why I'm going to, probably pack up in a few seconds here. What do we have? A few questions?
Yeah, we have more questions about where to buy the book. And so the link is here, guys. And remember, you can also get it at Amazon. And this is a book that is changing the world. I also want to tell everybody this. Everybody has access to Chat GPT, Claude, all of the ones. If you go there and you type in the title of this book, you are going to get a summary of it and you can actually interact with the chatbot all about this book. It is out there. It has been researched, it's been studied, and this is something that is impacting the world. So go out there and buy your own copy. It's also on e-reader, so
Okay,
you
good.
can
Okay,
you can
that's
get all
great.
that. Yeah, just I just
Oh,
wanted to say that because we had a number of questions about it, and we also want people to be going to these websites that are scrolling at the bottom of the at the bottom of the screen. And thank you to Susan who said that she went and it looks like some great clothing. Yes, it is. Did you want to talk for a second about Reclaim Threads since people are visiting it?
the claim threads are all. So we're gonna. My daughter decided to go after the fashion market and use reclaimed material and recycled material to make new material. See, because she saw that the landfill of discarded clothing is absolutely breathtakingly, disgustingly mountainous.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of clothing that's just pretty much put into a bale and thrown away
Yes.
is pretty phenomenal. Okay, it's like it's when you take a close look at it, it's hard to even imagine. So she decided to go and follow her dad's lead and start a line of clothing based on taking some of the, a few items. I mean, what can you do? One by one, that's the whole point, is you don't have to solve the whole problem by yourself. The trick is to use one small foot at a time and be in the process so that that's all you can do. Nobody expects you to, turn around and save the big world. The point is to get the inner world, the small world, working for you and for your benefit, because it works for you and your benefit, so that it works for other people. Because if you're listening to this, then you're probably one of the special people who's out there helping other people already anyway. So just ready to join the club. And the game is just another way of looking at it. So you don't want to work at anything, man. Nobody wants to work.
Yep.
Who wants to work? I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I'm not
Nobody.
gonna work. I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna play. Play.
That's why it's play whole earth game, and I wanted to stress that because
Well, it's a game. First, play the game. It's the whole earth. So remember, we're in this little bubble.
yep.
Everything is in here in this lunchbox, and we're
Mhm.
the we're the bacteria in the lunchbox, right?
The bacteria.
We're like the stinky part of the lunchbox.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's
That's right.
right.
People are the stinky part because
Oh, that's
okay, in
funny.
300 years we've brought. I mean, it's so easy to see in Santa Barbara because okay, for 12,700 years. I mean, if you're saying
Mhm.
13,000 even, but remember that 1212 and
Yep.
1221 was the area of which we were wobbling through the 13,000 year reset of the Toltec Mayan calendar, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's when we hit 13,000.
Mhm.
1212, right? So it's
Yep.
only 1225. So it's literally only like 12 years from that time.
Only 12 years, huh?
From the time at the reset. So we're 12 years into like Walking Dead.
Wow.
Like
Oh boy.
that big explosion should have happened. If it was on schedule, it would have been that day.
Right.
So maybe it did, but we don't know it. Maybe we're in such a hologram that we don't know it. That it's actually been switched, but we don't know it
So when would we find out? When would we even find out?
You never know. See, it's your perception. As you rise your own perception, you'll be able to see past the veil, see through the veil into whatever your perception is. Because remember, everyone is different, but we are all the same.
Everyone's different, but we're all the same. And that's really the reality, isn't it?
Everybody has the same. So we all showed up with the same kit of parts.
Yep.
It's what we've done with those kit of parts that is what we bring from this experience.
That makes sense to me. Yep. That's the truth. And that really
This is why
resonates.
it's easier to play, because you know what? If it was easier to work, I'd be working at it. But it's easier to play than it is to work at it.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't want to
because you
work.
don't yeah, and you don't have to force yourself and you don't find yourself slacking because when you're playing, you're just enjoying, right?
Well, you're practicing, so it's a practice. Like I don't feel like practicing too much. I want to practice a little, something hurt. I don't know. Practicing is everybody plays at practice, so you don't want to miss. I mean, that's when you get to play. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
sitting on the bench at practice. You got to be running the field. You got to be with the ball. You got to if you're doing it right. You see, no lines, laps, or lectures. The three L's you got to remember. I'm giving you the lecture so that you'll avoid the three L's. No lectures, no lines, and no laps. But in this case, you need to be told what to do. Otherwise, you can't. But with kids, you want to keep them moving. Everybody gets a ball. That's why we all bring the ball to ourselves, and we can always play with the ball while we're talking or listening. You know,
Right, yeah. To keep it and just keep it dynamic and keep it moving and
you
keeping
play
people
with the ball. You want to play with the ball. You don't really want to not play with that ball.
yeah.
I mean, whatever the coach is wonking about, forget it. It's like the ball. You want to stay with that. You want to have a good friendship with the ball.
Oh yeah, that's a good way of saying it, a friendship with the ball.
right? And then we're passing the ball. It's a game of trust. We're trusting that the person will receive the ball with as much. See, it's giving and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works in the game of football, right? So
Yeah.
football, passing the ball, keeping the ball away from the other team, trusting that your person's going to be where they, you like pretty much. It's a telepathic thing. It's kind of like where music gets to be, right? When you're like everybody's playing in sync with each other. You know where you're going to be. You know where the other person's going to be before they get there, right? Kind of all
Yep.
everything slows
Yep.
down. You're kind of thinking like where like that's the thing. You can be like it slows time down, so you're actually waiting for the beat rather than having to rush to it. Anyway, so that's what we do. Now, what you want to do is go to get the book, and then you want to look at my board of directors, and it's kind of cool because then you get to be part of the board of directors too. But what I want you to do is look at who I've chosen. So Bucky Fuller is who we got first because he puts the game, world game, in my head. I got to thank the guy that gave me the idea to put the world game into WholEarth. Okay, so I created WholEarth to just say another way of saying the same thing. But since nobody know how to play the world game or the WholEarth game, it doesn't matter what you call it. That's the way it starts. That's why we can restart the game right now. If this is the first time you've ever heard of WholEarth, so good. But what it does is it joins. So one whole Earth. So we are in this whole Earth, and we're in this thing in the window, and it's like boom. We got air, water, land, sunlight to give us food, to give us energy, to give us able to do stuff, so we can crawl around here and have these enormous battles, and then we can create this insane a business about killing each other. I have no idea what the heck we're doing here. This is ridiculous. Why are we listening to anybody who wants to have a war? Why aren't these people just picked up and arrested before they even start pressing buttons? Why are these kids getting into tanks in Russia and getting blown up by the threesome? I guess there's three guys in a tank, maybe four people in one of these tanks. You see them get blown up all over the place. Does anybody know that there's kids in there that are getting killed? Does it bother anybody that there's real people in there this time? It's not a game. What do you think of that, Renee? It's not a
That
game.
really hit me. Yeah, that really hit me that you said that people are lobbing all these missiles and everything, and we forget that there's real children, real innocent people just like you and me. They're just wanting to
I
live their
know, no,
lives.
I'm talking about like. Have you seen these drone strikes on these tanks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's three guys in there that didn't come home.
Exactly. With families and
Got
stories
toasted,
and
man. There's three kids who didn't come home.
yeah.
Whose son was that? If it's sons
Yeah.
and daughters too, you think there weren't women in there too?
Isn't that crazy that we've lost sight of that as a culture? I mean, that
How
it
can we do that and not get sick to our stomach? I mean, literally,
yeah.
you gotta understand this shit. I mean, the body bags are coming home. We just don't see those, but we want to. I mean, come on, this is real.
It's real. Yeah. It's real and it's real disturbing. So,
It's real disturbing. But at the end of the day, we are gonna stay focused. Now, if you want to play
yeah.
my game, you gotta be on this other side because that's the thing. The opposite of what they're doing is what we're doing. We're just gonna. I mean, I know it seems child. It is. It's completely childish. It has no. There's no reason to do this, whatever. There's no practical reason, whatever, unless you believe there's a practical reason to do it. And then you got to go all in. Because half measures avail nothing. Okay?
A half measure can do more harm than good in certain cases, right?
We've half measured this entire fucking country for the last 50 years, okay? This has been the work of the Bush Cheney, Rumsfeld, CIA, fucking dark money. Oh, dude, we are been fucked with for the last 60 years since I've been around. Okay, I was 3 years old when they shot the only guy that really gave a fuck about the United States.
Tell me about that.
JFK,
Yep,
Bush,
exactly.
Cheney. That was Bush's. That's like Herbert fucking Walker Bush's coup de grace, in which he took over the government and ran the shadow government, and then he got, whoever was elected was being run by Bush. Okay, Clinton, Reagan. Then he got a chance, even though he lied. Oh my God. Then his son went in there. Then Clinton. Clinton was one of those guys. He was an insider. Wasn't even fucking. He was fucking sick. All for show. But whatever. Remember, it
Mention
was
that a little
Clinton
bit
that's.
because not everybody. I was just talking to someone today about that, but I don't think a lot of people know about what you're saying there. Can you just talk a little
Oh,
bit
so
more
Clinton.
about it?
Okay, so Clinton got to be noticed because he allowed Noriega's guns for money for coke and cash to go through Arkansas airports. Okay, and then when his friend Jeffrey Epstein needed to be a billionaire, they rigged a couple of Powerballs for him.
Wow.
And so corrupt, so dirty as a governor that he was just a made man, and he got placed into the office because he would just do what they said. Remember that Clinton was supposed to be signing the 9/11 Nasera Gassera law on that day, not the fucking 9/11 terror attack that was put on us by, again, that's the Bush Cheney fucking inside job dudes. You didn't know that? I mean, come on, everybody knows that, okay? I mean, just one thing after the next, and then we're in a war with Kuwait, like war with Iran. Those guys never even had anything to do with it. Now we're in a war with Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden, my ass, and then they lost the body. Give me a break! It fell out of the helicopter. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? You can't make this stuff up. If you did, you'd be like, and then they rigged every election. If they didn't, like, that was the thing. Hillary was supposed to win. Gore was supposed to win. They were starting out rig the elections then. See, right up until the very time, and then the Democrats just sit there and go, "I don't know what happened. What happened?" Yes, you do. You know what happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the game, okay? Once you're in the game, you're in the game. But I don't think I hope AOC's not in the game. But I mean, she and Bernie basically went out and said we're not in the game, but they're in the game. They're in the
Yeah, Lucy said, I hate the people they keep running. I never trusted any of them. How can we get legit and honest people into the government?
Well, see, there's Jasmine Crockett who's running on her own steam. I believe she is, and she's just, she's running on this idea that you can pull a law book out because she went to the College of Law. She knows. I mean, there's law. If you put law in front of power, law should prevail. But I mean, that's when you can see the cracks in the armor, and you can see the cracks. But you can't put everything on one person. Somebody, I mean, they're trying. There is a situation where if you're in the minority, but the thing is, the reason we're in the minority is because this last election was stolen. The reason Harris is not president because she was stolen, but she didn't put up a fight because ethical people follow the rule of law, because people who do the right thing seem to go in such a way that's methodical, and it's just, we're going to just go down the line. Eventually it'll work itself out. My dad was like this thing too. He was driving me nuts. It'll all work itself out, son. Just wait and see. And he just showed up in my spirit connection and telling me the same thing. And I'm like, how do you think this is going to work? It's just going to work out. You have to have the faith that it's going to work out. So here we are.
Yeah,
We're going to
he's
wrap
right.
up today.
He's right. No, he's absolutely right.
I
He's
think on
absolutely
that
right.
note, I'm going to let you folks ponder that till the next time we meet.
Okay, you didn't want to talk maybe 1 second about your dad just to give context to the new people? A lot of new people in here today.
Well, my dad was just this stoic person who would just go to that. He would follow. He would never, ever have any emotional reaction to any particular exterior thing. There was nothing to do with that. It's just you got to have your own conviction strong enough to just know how to do the right thing. You got to know what the right thing is, and you got to go that way. And there's no turning back. There's no side to side, and it's tough. That's the hard. This, Medgar Evers. They were talking about that. They want to change the name of the ship from Medgar Evers, who was one of the most stalwart soldiers against inequality in the country, and they want to replace his name with a Confederate soldier or a Confederate general who lost a war to try to keep people enslaved. I mean, what kind of insanity are we living in right now? So I want to just say we don't do that. We're not living in that insanity. We're not going to fall for it. We're going to stay the course. We're going to have faith, and I will see you next time. Keep coming back.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody.